Hello, everybody. It's the coach. This is Madden 20 on EA Sports. We are moments away from what should be an excellent matchup between the Minnesota Vikings and the Miami Dolphins. With that, let's get down to Hard Rock Stadium in Miami. Standing by for the call, here are Brandon Godden and Charles Davis.
Okay, Coach, we are about 15 or so miles northwest of world-famous Miami Beach as we are set for football at Hard Rock Stadium in Miami Gardens. Nothing like the fanfare of introductions to an NFL game, and that was in evidence a moment ago. Fireworks, pyrotechnics, you name it. This crowd is ready as their guys get set to match up between the Minnesota Vikings and the Miami Dolphins. With Charles Davis, as always, I'm Brandon Gaudin. And Charles, you talk about storylines in this one. I think it begins and ends with our two quarterbacks, certainly two of the best in the business.
And nowadays, I don't think you can get by for long periods of time without a top-flight quarterback. The way the game is played, with all the responsibility he has and how the game flows through him, if he's not on the top of his game, your team's not going to benefit at all.
The bye weeks are over. It's all about football all the time as we're underway here in Week 13. This will be fielded at the 6. And a good effort on the return there gets them across the 30 to the 33-yard line. So they'll come up 1st and 10 now from the 33. Back to throw. Oh, he's going to take a shot right away. And that's caught inside the 30. Touchdown, Vikings. A big play there. His 14th touchdown now on the year as his guys are able to strike first here in this opening quarter. Well, one word for that opening play call, and that is aggressive, but it worked. First play from scrimmage, long touchdown pass.
Well, let's be honest about it. In our production meeting last night, we talked about when would the secondary get tested. I did not say that it'd get tested on play number 1. I knew as the game went along, they would take their shots, but that, as you said, a bold strike and very successful right out of the gate.
Set now to kick this one away, and off it goes. And this will be a touchback as that sails over the end line. So here are the Dolphins now getting set for their initial possession. And they'll be led out by the guy under center, Charles, their quarterback.
I read something prepping for this game that he said prior to, and I think he really said it a few months ago, where he talked about he wants to have the type of season that at the end,
under a heavy rush, and down he goes. Takk McKinley in there to get him, and on the season now, that is 9 sacks for him. Don't need it all back at once, but you figure they're going to need something here. 17 yards to go on second down. Now Joe Mixon. They'll wind up getting 10 back as that sets them up for third down. An extra defender in the secondary for the Vikings here on third down. He'll drop to throw. Quick hitter here, it's complete. And they get him down, but not before he takes it across the 40-yard line. That one good for 13 and a Dolphin first down.
I like the screen being called here early in the game, especially on the opening drive, because, Brandon, when guys come out of the locker room, especially those pass rushers, they are so amped up to get to the quarterback.
Blitz coming, and down he goes. The defensive end, Danielle Hunter, drops him.
And plays like that really hurt play calling. They had a really nice gain on the previous play, but gave about half the yardage back on the sack. Excellent pressure up front. Nowhere to go with the football. Down he goes.
Under 10. Go.
On second down, here's Mixon. And he will lose yardage here to the 31-yard line. The tally there, -2 yards, brings up third down. Need something from deep in the bag of tricks here after first and second down. Went backwards. It's third and very long. Nowhere to escape, and he goes down. Danielle Hunter in there yet again. What else is new? He continues to rewrite the record book in single-season sacks.
Well, someone's closing in on the league lead in sacks. He came into the game in the top 5. Now you add 2 more to his total.
And Sanders now to return. Oh, able to avoid him. We'll call that a punt of 54 yards. Well struck. And the Vikings will take over here first and 10. And now out comes Minnesota. And following that long touchdown pass, a one-play drive last time, we'll see if the defense, you know they're ready. They don't want that to happen again.
And you would have thought they would have been ready the last time. That's what you work on all the time. Make sure that no one gets behind you. That's the cardinal sin of defense, not giving up the long pass. They did. Let's see how they adjust.
And up to the 35 before they're able to knock him down. Give him 18 there and give the Vikings a first down. Ball up to the 35 now as they come up on first and 10. He's going to loft one deep left side here. It's caught at the 10. Touchdown, Vikings. A big play there with his second touchdown in this opening quarter. And the Vikings get the quick strike touchdown. Still first quarter, 2 receiving touchdowns for him. How are they going to slow him down?
I think they're thinking about altering their game plan. Whatever they came in with, now maybe you switch a better cover guy to him. Or you make sure you have more people in his general area wherever he lines up to at least try and discourage them from throwing the ball to him.
Extra point attempt to follow here. Extra point right down the middle, and that'll make the score 14-0. The long touchdown pass gets them 6 on a very, very tidy 2-play drive that time. Out is the kickoff unit as they run up and send this one away. Here he is, the man taking the snaps under center. First down Miami as they get set to start the drive. Already down 2 touchdowns here in the first half. This becomes a pretty important drive, doesn't it?
It certainly does, and a lot of the teams script plays. We know that, right? They have a script to start the ball game, and typically those scripts go between 12 and 24, 25 plays. Down 2 touchdowns early, probably not very deep into their script. I think that they'll stay with it. I don't think they'll abandon it just yet and try and generate some offense on this drive.
Anything, at least 3 points, get that 0 off the board. Now a throw for the All-Pro Kelsey is complete. And he'll have it past midfield almost to the 40 before being taken down. And a nice gain of 21 yards. Back-to-back good plays have them on the move on first down. The throw over the middle, taken in. And he just falls short down at the 1-yard line. It's a big play there for Miami. And even 40 yards. 2 big plays in succession. Not sure this D knows what hit him, but now they got to get ready. It's 1st and goal. Here's a run with Mixon. And he is not going to get through here on try number 1. They stop him at the goal line. Call it no gain, and it's going to be 2nd and goal. And this will probably be the last play of the quarter. Second quarter from Miami. It's the Dolphins with the football as they come up now 2nd and goal. Second quarter from Miami. It's the Dolphins with the football as they come up now 2nd and goal. Mixon trying to punch it in. And he is going to be stopped cold behind the line of scrimmage. It'll go as a loss of a yard, and it'll set up 3rd down. Can this Vikings D hold up one more time? 3rd and goal. They'll look to throw. And that is caught. Touchdown, Miami. A 2-yard touchdown grab as they are now on the board here in the first half. No surprise there. 3rd and goal down here. That's where they're going to look for their tight end.
Yeah, you want that big guy running his routes because it doesn't matter who they cover him with. If it's another big guy, he might use his bulk against him. If it's a shorter defender, might go over the top. Either way, you tend to find a little bit of a mismatch in that area.
Point after, right down the middle. And that'll make our score 14-7. So that drives 6 plays, 75 yards. And it ends with a touchdown for the Dolphins. Now the Minnesota offense set to take over again. And right now they're saying, hey, let's keep this going. 2 drives, 2 touchdowns.
Yeah, can't ask for a better start than that, can you? I mean, this is the way you practice it. This is the way you rehearse it. But right now, the play calling, they're locked in really well.
Ready, set. 55. Eat. Don't get nervous. Pilot, 64. Weak. That's all right. 2.
They'll run on first down. Boyce. And he's going to get a good gain of 9 here up to the 34.
First play of the drive. Let's give credit all around. Excellent blocking. But the guy carrying the ball, he was the finisher. A really nice run.
Protein spill.
2nd and 1. He's got Smith here. 7 yards there and a first down.
When the offense reads blitz, doesn't matter where it's coming from, tight ends know that they become a big part of the passing game because they should be an easy outlet when all those extra bodies are trying to get to the quarterback. A hot route, so to speak.
On first down, Boyce. 10 yards on the pickup there, and it'll be second down.
Partner, I remember a coaching friend of mine used to tell his running backs before games, make sure you run and jog with your offensive line in pregame. Get used to the ground shaking when those big behemoths start to create space for you up front. He did a pretty good job of just following those guys through there for a nice explosive run.
On second down, Boyce, and he'll be taken down at the 44-yard line. A gain of 5, good enough for the first down.
70, Indy. We want it.
They'll look to throw now on first down. Nowhere to escape, and he goes down. Great job defensively. I think he was trying to go through his progressions, find someone to get rid of the football. Before he knew it, he was on his back.
So that just brings us right back to what you said in the beginning. A great job defensively. Nowhere to go with the football. That led to the sack.
And this is taken in at the 5. And he will score. Touchdown, Vikings. A big play there. On his way to a monster game. 3 first-half touchdowns. And the Vikings are going to widen that advantage. Extra point splits the uprights. And it's now 21-7. The kickoff team on the field now as they will send this one away. This will be fielded at the 8. And not a bad return here. He gets it out to the 25-yard line. Out comes the Miami offensive unit now. They get set to take over. I guess they have to feel a little gratified to at least get on the board last time, but still work to do.
No doubt about it. I wonder now if they're going to try to increase the urgency a little bit. Maybe
rush coming, and he's taken down. Danielle Hunter getting him once again, his 3rd sack of the afternoon.
Brandon, if I'm an offensive coordinator and I see an all-out rush like that, I file it away because I'm going to use their aggressiveness against them as this game goes on. I'm going to hit them with a screen soon.
On the run, it's Mixon. And he still has yet to get on track in this first half as they're going to stop him behind the line. Now whistles and a timeout. Looks like we've got a Viking slow to get up. We'll get an update when we come back to Miami. Now on 3rd and long, they'll look to throw. Nowhere to escape, and he goes down. And we've hit the 2-minute mark in this first half of action. A reminder, coming up at halftime, we'll send you up to Orlando. Jonathan Coachman is there, and he'll have stats and scores from a busy Sunday in the NFL. Now Sanders. Oh, he nearly broke that one. As it stands, though, a heck of a 36-yard run back. And the Vikings, they'll be set up well as they take over in great field position. 1st and 10. So here's a 1st and 10 at the 38. They'll set up to throw. Under a heavy rush, and down he goes.
You see me? You see me?
Well, maybe that can give him a little bit of a pick-me-up, a little bit of a jolt. One of the few things has gone right defensively.
Because other than that, it's really been a first half to forget.
218, chop. Ready?
On second down now, Boyce. And he's going to be stopped up at about the 47-yard line. The Dolphins bring on an extra defensive back on 3rd down. Back to throw here. Well, he's going to go for it all. That's incomplete, but there is a flag down, so hang on. A big call coming on 3rd down. Well, the crowd doesn't like that. Was going to bring up 4th. Now it's 1st.
They don't like it at all, do they? It brings them back into it, but really not in a positive way. Now they're angry. That can jangle a team a little bit as well. Pass interference ruined that series of downs for them.
Ten. Now!
Watch the twist.
They'll try and run for it on 1st and goal. And he'll go backwards, losing yardage to the 5. That's going to go as a loss of 4, and it'll be 2nd down. Back at the 5-yard line now, 2nd and goal. And this play gets blown up. They'll lose yardage. Back at the 17. The Vikings going to signal for their first of their timeouts, as the stoppage will come with 23 seconds to go till halftime. Really in a hole here, 3rd and 17, following the 2 negative plays.
Let's go, let's go. Hey, we got Mike, number 53. Mike, 53.
He'll look to throw. It's caught in the end zone. Touchdown, Minnesota.
Touchdown, baby.
Miles Boykin, as the first half is winding down. And the Vikings are going to widen that advantage.
I heard a coach talk about those late-in-the-half scores, especially ones that give your team a pretty decent cushion. He said those could be the ones that can finish off a squad if you let them.
Yeah, they've got the cushion. This half has been theirs.
Touchdown, Minnesota. The kicker on for the point after.
They had to go to the monitor, get an extra look. That's what the technology is for. And this touchdown will count. Extra point right down the middle. And the decision to just kick the extra point winds up successful. The kickoff unit is out on the field, and they will send this one away. This one fielded at the 5. And some good coverage there by the kick team as they'll bring him down at the 16-yard line. The Dolphins at the line ready for their next drive. And the ball backed way up, so thinking with this amount of time on the clock, probably just sit on it, and we'll see these two teams go to the lockers.
Yeah, I don't think you want to overthink it in this situation. Either side of the ball. Just go ahead and finish up the half and get on out and talk about it.
After the loss to start out, here's 2nd and 11. They'll keep it on the ground again here. And he'll push forward here for a good little run as the clock continues to run. All right, hang on. We'll jump over halftime. Both teams appear ready for the fight ahead, and we resume action here in quarter number 3. This one fielded at the 5. And not a bad return here. He gets it out to the 25-yard line. Out comes the Dolphins now. They'll go on offense first here in this third quarter. They have the ball here for the inaugural drive of the second half. Pretty big deficit, though. We'll see what adjustments were made in that locker room.
And I never wanted to make something more.
Blitz coming, and down he goes. Danielle Hunter, my goodness, make that now 5 sacks for him in this ball game. Really turning in an incredible performance. Now following the sack, they'll look to make amends on a 2nd down and 17. Now they run with Mixon, and they're going to get him behind the line yet again as his nightmare afternoon continues. It'll wind up being a loss of 2, and they're going to face an uphill battle here on 3rd and long. He'll look to throw. Oh, the ball comes out on the hit, but they'll say it's incomplete.
And we're into the second half now, and this is an offense that continues to struggle to sustain a drive.
Looks like they're just totally out of sync, whether they're running the ball, passing the ball like we saw there. I don't know. The rhythm seems off. This is taken at the 18. A very good return that time. 18 yards. And out will come the offense as they take over. It's the Vikings' turn on offense. We get ready for their first possession of the second half. They have the lead here. Well, we talk a lot about pregame speeches. What are halftime speeches like?
For the most part, not nearly as emotional. They're a lot more clinical. Every now and then, though, they'll get after you if they think they need to light a fire. But in this case, let's go into the virtual locker room, because here's what I think happened. They got in there and they said, listen, let's take control right away. Defense, we got the lead. Defense, don't give up any points. Turn the ball back over to the offense and let them go down and score and give us more of a cushion in the game.
Nowhere to escape, and he goes down. So they come out of the locker room trailing, but plays like that, they won't be trailing much longer. Defense really starting out well this second half.
Yeah, they knew they had to jumpstart things a little bit. They really struggled in the first half trying to slow them down, but now they had a plan, made that adjustment that we always talk about, and it worked very well on that play.
Now, meanwhile, a pass that should have been intercepted, but it winds up falling incomplete.
I think it's pretty safe to say that when you're up 3 touchdowns, the last thing you want to do is hang one up there and put it in jeopardy and possibly get it intercepted. Got a nice lead. You should be able to protect it. But if you get careless with the football, look out.
55. Here we go, D. Check 55 to Mike. Check 50.
They're going to try and throw. And that's caught by Smith. 21 yards there. A big play on 4th down. And a good quarterback facing zone coverage. If he has just a little bit of time to survey the scene, that's what's going to happen.
No doubt about it. If there's no pressure, he's going to continue to pick them apart because he'll have all that time to find someone open downfield. You can only cover for so long. So maybe they want to go to a zone blitz scheme, get a little bit more pressure. Remember when Carolina did that against Denver? They lost the game ultimately. They dropped the defensive end out, and he ended up with an interception in that game in Super Bowl 50. Maybe some sort of scheme like that to try and get more pressure at the passer.
13 yards as the Vikings pick up the first down.
Running lanes were at a premium in the first half, but he's able to find some room there, and he's hoping that that's a precursor of a big second half.
Let's go now.
Ball up to the 35 now as they come up on 1st and 10.
It's our time.
Looking to throw. Escaping the pressure right. He'll run it. And he'll cross over out of bounds right at the 25. Nothing open downfield. He keeps it himself for 11 and a first down.
Go! 60 outlaw.
Okay, just like that. Just like that. Check the backer, check the backer.
Recon, 132 fighter. Ready?
They go play action here on 1st down. Rush coming, and he's taken down.
The amount of sacks that they've absorbed in this game is absolutely extraordinary. Let's just face it. This offensive line, flat out, cannot handle this pass rush. It's been demonstrated time and time again.
2nd and long. And that's going to be incomplete. A lot of contact, no call, and it's 3rd down.
You get a tight end like this, and you know he's used to dishing out punishment, but here, he's the one that has to absorb the contact, and as a result, unable to hold on to the football.
An incomplete pass on that last play, and that means they'll need to come up with something here on 3rd down.
I'm going back to you. Bang, 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 bang. Check.
They'll look to throw here. And he can't quite pick it. No interception so far. That probably should have been their first, but at least it's 4th down.
Not only was the call spot on, how about the execution of that defense right there? The zone was absolutely locked up tight. He was trying to force it in there on 3rd down.
But if there's a time to force it, he felt like he needed to make a play, right?
Yeah, exactly right. 3rd down, you got to try and find something. There was nothing available there for him.
So in the end, they had the ball for 10 plays, but the drive gets them 3, not 6.
Is it okay if I give credit to both sides on this one? Absolutely. All right, let's start defensively. They hung in there. 10-play drive, but they stiffened when they got close to the goal line, made them kick a field goal. For the offense, 10-play drive. They might be a little disappointed they got a field goal, but they moved the ball down the field with dispatch and came away with points.
Watch the pass. Watch the pass. Here we go. Here we go. Go.
They'll come out throwing here to start the drive. Throwing middle, but it's incomplete.
Let's face it, if you want to get back into the game, these are the kind of throws you got to hit. He's wide open right there. Got to be able to get it to him, don't you think?
And those are the throws that haven't been available to them every time he's dropped a pass. Yeah, that's a big miss. He lost 2 there, and it's 3rd down.
But if these guys are going to chop into that deficit, they're going to have to do a much better job in the run game. Caught behind the line of scrimmage, no yardage to be found.
Now a shot taken on 3rd down, but it's going to wind up incomplete. It's been this way most of the afternoon, hasn't it? This secondary really put this receiving core on lockdown.
Listen, they've worked together like a basketball team that's playing excellent defense. Great communication, doesn't matter whether it's man or zone. And especially against deep balls, as we saw there, they're not giving up anything to them.
A big hitter that time in the punt game. 66 yards on the boot. And the offense will take over with a new set of downs. Here are the Vikings now to start their next drive. And now you've got the clock winding down here in the third quarter. You're 3 scores to the good. What's your approach on this drive?
Too early to fully commit to playing the clock game. Yet at the same time, you're also not going pell-mell like you would in 2-minute offense. This is what NFL offenses call 4-minute football. Take the clock out of the game a little bit, wind it down, but at the same time, keep advancing the ball down the field.
After the incomplete pass, here now is 2nd and 10.
Hey, Echo.
2nd and 10. And this one complete to Smith. And he's got it past the 30 before he's hit and dropped. 13 yards as the Vikings pick up the first down. This quarterback now 6 for 6 since coming back out of the locker room. It's 1st and 10. And that is going to do it for this third quarter of action. We'll return with more after this. You're watching the NFL on EA Sports. Line of scrimmage, the 31 now on 1st and 10. They'll drop the throw. He's going to loft one deep left side here. That's caught inside the 20. Touchdown, Vikings. A big play there. 69 yards as his guys continue to pour it on. So another score there, and often you talk about the 3 phases of the game. Defense, offense, special teams. It's been a clean sweep in this one, hasn't it?
It certainly has. They've been pretty dominant throughout this game. And privately, the head coach will add a 4th phase. That's the coaching. And he'll tell the ownership that as he tries to negotiate a new contract off of this win.
They are looking strong here in the 4th quarter. Point after, right down the middle. And the lead will swell by 1 more. Set now to kick this one away, and off it goes. This is taken at the 3. And he'll take this one near the 25, call it the 26-yard line. So now here come the Dolphins. These guys had to punt their last possession, and that's become too familiar of a refrain. Too many of these drives just wound up going nowhere.
But you know how in baseball, when the pitcher gets a base hit and he's on base, they bring his jacket out to him to keep him warm? A lot of times the punter goes to the sideline, puts on sweatpants or a wrap over his leg to keep it warm. He might need a massage.
Nowhere to escape, and he goes down. Daniil Hunter in there to get him again. That is sack number 6, one off the NFL record of 7. Protection certainly going to need to be a bit better here on 2nd and 16. They're going to look to throw. Firing quickly here, and that's complete. A good gain of 9 before he's brought down at the 28. So they'll get 9 there as that sets him up better for 3rd down. The Dolphins on 3rd down. They've converted just 2 for 6 thus far. This is 3rd and 8. They'll set up a throw. Nowhere to escape, and he goes down.
We've been around this league for a while, and many coaches never pull their starting quarterback, almost no matter the situation. In this case, though, I think he's got to make a decision. He's taking a pretty good beating out there.
Yeah, and with the deficit, maybe not wanting to risk an injury. This is fielded at the 27. Give him 11 yards that time on the return. And possession will switch hands, 1st and 10. Now the Vikings offense works their way back onto the field. We find ourselves here in the midst of a one-sided affair. A lot of fill time down the stretch, Mr. Davis.
So we could talk about food because that is something that you and I really enjoy.
We share that.
We enjoy our time at the table. So maybe the best steakhouses in the city, but In all seriousness, the performances that we've seen this year, we've seen a bunch of great ones, and it's going to be hard to parse who's going to win the MVP.
Yeah, it really is.
Is it going to be a runner? Is it going to be a thrower? Can a defender finally win it this season? Those are the things that we could probably discuss.
And collectively, this is about as dominant of a performance as you could have hoped for on both sides of the football.
Might have to put it #1 for what we've seen this season.
And they're going to be set up down around the 15-yard line. 2 chunk plays in a row. The last one was over 20 yards, and so is this one. Back-to-back good plays have them on the move on first down. Now back to throw. That's going to be knocked away and incomplete. Credit Julian Love with a pass breakup. Fourth quarter, you've got the big lead. If you're coaching, Charles, you still taking shots like that downfield?
I'd be a little more concerned with running some clock and making sure you're taking care of the lead, because keep flinging it around, you throw a couple of picks, you can put yourself in jeopardy.
And this has been a familiar sight all afternoon as they stop him behind the line.
Brandon, it's clearly a running situation when you're up in the fourth quarter. They're going to have to stack the box and make it difficult for them to move the ball.
Made it very difficult right there. Now they need to repeat that effort.
Yeah, bring 7, 8, 9, whatever it's going to take to slow them down.
Now the throw on third down, knocked away and incomplete. Julian Love, the rookie from Notre Dame, there to get a hand in.
Well, the secondary's really struggled today, but that's a little bit of a measure of revenge, isn't it? And they just followed the basic rules. See ball, knock ball away, turns into a nice play.
So it's 3 more points, and that widens this thing out even further here in the fourth.
And you know, in this league, you can never have enough points, but this widens it out, as you said, and now it's all about ball control, isn't it?
The Dolphins offense now heads back on the field. And right now these guys, they're shuffling a little bit, maybe doubting, because 3 straight drives have ended with them punting the football away.
Yeah, so you start pointing fingers at each other a little bit, asking a lot of questions. What are you seeing? What are you getting? Maybe trying to narrow down your playbook a little bit and maybe get simpler rather than more complex in order to try and fashion together a drive.
It'll be a pickup of 16 and a Dolphin first down. Just 2 minutes remaining here in the fourth quarter of what has been a one-sided affair. So the Dolphins have it as we welcome you back in. They've got a 1st and 10 as they search for a late score. Now a man open down the middle of the field. And he'll be taken down, but not before he works it past the 50. The Miami first down, that one going for a gain of 11. Now on first down, he'll drop to throw it. And he's got his man on the out route. And he is out of bounds inside the 35. A Miami first down on a 14-yard pickup. From the 34 now, here's 1st and 10.
So don't say nothing.
Back to throw. Nowhere to go here. He lost the football. And the Vikings pick up the football. And his crew will take over at their own 45-yard line.
And with that kind of a deficit, you can't afford to make any kind of mistakes. But it's been pretty symptomatic of what we've seen all game with them, isn't it? Down this big in the fourth quarter.
Yeah, you'd say an afternoon to forget, absolutely. Here are the Vikings now to start their next drive. And this game comfortably in hand. The scoreboard speaks for itself, but you still got your starting quarterback out there. When do you go to the backup? Let him get some time.
And that's one of the great questions in the NFL, Brandon, because I'm just going to tell you, in the 2015 season, I commentated on 3 games in a row that were blowouts. And in none of them did the starting quarterback ever come out of the game for the team that had a big lead. And in each instance, I asked the coaches later on, why didn't you do that? And they all looked at me and said, just don't really do that in the NFL. These guys play, and we just play them all the way through. Now, in certain situations, they will take them out, but for the most part, they're not as worried and concerned about getting them out of the game. And that's always puzzled me a little bit.
That one looks like he'll throw here. Steps away. And he's going to have to eat this one as down he goes. The Vikings going to signal for the first of their timeouts. That'll leave them with 2 remaining. We'll be back after this. After the sack, it's 2nd and 19, and the road gets a bit tougher from here. He'll drop to throw. Oh, he's going to let this go for the end zone. And that's going to wind up incomplete. However, we do have a flag down. Let's check in with our referee. So they saw the contact before the ball arrived. Penalty flag for pass interference.
And trying to avoid pass interference is so difficult. You're trying to slow down these skilled receivers, and somehow, some way, they make plays on the football, and sometimes you're there too soon.
22 jet bomber, 22 jet bomber.
They'll try and run for it on 1st and goal. And they are going to score again. Yet another touchdown as they just add to their totals.
And to me, that touchdown allows you to start grinning widely on your sideline. I think they pretty much locked this one away.
Yeah, that's the clincher, the proverbial icing on the cake, if you will. The extra point, up and good. And that will extend this big lead. Just a 4-play drive that time. And it ends with a 1-yard touchdown run. And that'll carry over the back line of the end zone for a touchback. The Dolphins offense now working their way back onto the field. They've lost this one. Their offense has struggled. Do they try to put together something here at the end just to take into next week?
Yeah, sometimes teams want to do that and coaches want to. I remember one time I was on a team and we were losing late in the game like this, and you knew it was lost. It was over, right? And the coach called a running play and pretty much said to everyone, I want to see something executed well before we get out of here. And now
nowhere to escape, and he goes down. A big offensive explosion helped leading them to victory. And the defensive guys, they're just saying, hey, put those points up every week. We'll just keep winning.
They will gratefully accept them, won't they? It makes their job that much easier when they're scoring that many points. Allows them to play with a totally different style and a different flow.
So for the Vikings, the win gets them back to 500 at 6-6 on the year. And they will head back home next week. Meanwhile, for the Dolphins, it was a win they needed to turn the season around, but instead, they fall to 5-7. And they'll try and turn things around next week as they have a date at MetLife Stadium with the New York Jets. Thanks for tuning in, everybody. Alongside Charles Davis, we thank our entire crew. I'm Brandon Gaudin. This is the NFL.